This innocent girl wants to become a superhero like her dad, but he chooses her cousin instead. Seeing this, the girl decides to train herself and prove everyone wrong. In this city, no one worries about crimes or natural disasters because they have a superhero to take care of everything. This is Super Lion. He single-handedly keeps the whole city protected from any potential danger. His flash speed, magnifying eyesight, and modified ability of hearing enables him to solve all problems in no time. However, no one knows where he came from because his identity is still a secret. The only one who knows his secret is Super Lion's 11-year-old daughter, Hedvig. Despite being the daughter of a superhero, Hedvig doesn't have any promising characteristics. Instead, she lags behind normal kids in every aspect, including studies and social life. Her only friend is a nerdy boy named Thomas, who loves playing computer games like Hedvig does. One day while riding the school bus, Hedvig and her classmates notice a baby stroller heading towards the road. The baby's dad panics and screams for help. Luckily, Super Lion hears the screams and immediately arrives to save the baby by stopping the school bus in time. All the students keep staring at the legendary superhero and wish to be in his place one day. Hedvig also has the same dream, but she has bigger chances than others, because being Super Lion is a tradition passed down in her family. Her grandmother was a superhero too, and then her dad, Leif, took the job, and next will be Hedvig's turn. She wasn't born with superpowers, but her mother always told not to worry about it. Hedvig will be ready at the right time. Unfortunately, her mother passed away really soon and no one was left to reassure Hedvig. Moreover, Leif also faced depression because of the sudden death. He rarely stays at home and prefers saving the city instead of giving time to his only child. He doesn't have much expectations from Hedvig because of her incompetence, but she is determined to prove him wrong. But before that, she needs to cope up with her daily life problems like passing the school. Due to her weak eyesight and low vocabulary, Hedvig fails to read basic words and often gets bullied by her class. One day, the teacher announces an upcoming talent show in which all students are welcome to participate. They need to present their hidden talents, but Hedvig is only good at gaming, which is not usually considered a talent. The teacher takes them to the sports room and asks the top student, Adrian, to exhibit his gymnastics. As Adrian is Hedvig's cousin, the teacher expects a similar performance from her, but Hedvig fails pretty badly, and students laugh at her once again. After reaching home, Hedvig finds her dad watching his own accomplishments on the news, and this makes Hedvig more depressed. Instead of trying to understand her daughter, Leif forces Hedvig to work out daily, even though she doesn't like it. As soon as her dad gets busy making dinner, Hedvig sits down on her computer and starts playing games with Thomas and her 3 followers. After a while, Leif arrives and starts scolding her for wasting time. He also turns off the computer without letting Hedvig finish the game. She gets upset, but her dad explains that she needs to think about her future if she ever becomes the Super Lion. At her age, the previous Super Lions worked out day and night and maintained a special diet. Hedvig doesn't respond to her dad's nagging and keeps putting clothes in the washing machine. Unfortunately, both of them don't notice that the Super Lion costume has accidentally entered the machine as well. Suddenly, the doorbell rings, and Adrian arrives with his parents. After settling down on the table, they start talking about the talent show. Adrian is having trouble deciding which of his numerous talents he should exhibit. Beside acrobats and playing musical instruments, Adrian also knows how to do magic tricks and create oil paintings. Meanwhile, Hedvig doesn't have a single thing she can perform on the stage. After thinking for a while, she finally says that she will play drums. She hasn't done it in real life, but she practiced a lot in computer games. Hearing this, Adrian's parents make fun of her weird habit and laziness. Before Hedvig can reply, the washing machine blasts and the Super Lion costume falls on the table. Leif asks everyone to leave immediately so he can check if the costume is all right. Unfortunately, it has shrunk to a kid's size. There's only one costume that has been passed down from generation to generation. Without it, there will be no Super Lion, and the city will fall in great danger. Hedvig wants to try on the costume, but her dad believes she has caused enough trouble and can't be trusted with such a huge responsibility. Hedvig gets really heartbroken and runs away from home. She eventually reaches the old care center and meets her grandma, who has always been more understanding than her dad. Hedvig tells grandma everything that happened and asks why her dad is so strict. The grandma feels sorry for her, but it's not entirely Leif's mistake. It's the side effects of the Super Lion costume that affected their normal lives. The costume enhances your strong characteristics, but it also includes the bad ones. For example, if you have anger issues, they will get more severe if you wear the Super Lion costume. In the case of grandma, Her self-obsession and hunger for fame grew stronger, and she revealed her identity to gain attention. After that, she had to move back and let someone else take the place. It was Leif's turn, but he was only 13 at that time. The poor boy was sent to a secret super lion school far away in Tibet. It was very difficult for Leif, and he never forgave his mother for that. After hearing the whole story, Hedvig feels sorry for her dad and decides to be more patient with him. When she returns home, Leif apologizes for getting angry and blames himself for not having time to prepare Hedvig. But now, fate has decided, so Hedvig deserves to have a chance. Hedvig is afraid that she will fail like she does in everything, but Leif explains that the costume enhances your hidden talents, and Hedvig definitely has something in her that will make her a great hero. Hedvig gets really happy to hear this and promises to try her best. The next day, Hedvig wakes up excitedly and rushes to the basement. She puts on the costume and gets ready to save the city. Leif checks all the current emergencies and tries to find an easy task for Hedvig. He finally chooses one and starts driving to the location. A lemur has escaped the zoo and is causing a lot of trouble. All Hedvig needs to do is catch the lemur. She still wants to practice first, but Leif thinks it's not that big of a deal. He throws the poor girl in the middle of the street and asks her to catch the lemur. Hedvig spots the lemur in the flower shop, but she fails to catch it and drops all the flower pots. Leif advises Hedvig to keep going, so she reaches the top of a building to catch the lemur. All of a sudden, she starts having strange visions, but her dad snaps her out of thoughts. Hedvig succeeds in catching the lemur, but almost kills herself. Leif saves her in time, but she causes a huge mess, and even destroys the super lion golden statue. Moreover, the lemur runs away. After returning home, Leif asks Hedvig to give up because one needs special skills to be a super lion, and not everyone can do it. Hedvig can't believe what her dad is saying. It was just her first try. She just needs a little more practice. But Leif refuses to give her another chance because it's too risky. The costume only enhances the strengths you already have, and Hedvig doesn't seem to have any. She is no superhero, and Leif can't depend on her. Hedvig gets speechless and leaves quietly. For the next few days, she stays in her room and doesn't even play her favorite games. Thomas tries to cheer her up, but Hedvig is not in the mood to do anything. She feels worthless. On the other hand, Leif is also going through different stages of depression. The city is facing lots of troubles and a new case appears every day, but there's no super lion to handle them. People even have started to hate the super lion for suddenly disappearing and leaving them in danger. Moreover, the little troll peak right above the town has started to crack. If it falls down, the whole city will face huge destruction. It's not possible for normal human beings to fix it, so all they can do is pray for a miracle. Leif watches everything on the news, but he can't do anything to change it until today. While sending Hedvig to the school, Leif notices how athletic Adrian is. Leif immediately rushes to check the family tree and finds Adrian right next to Hedvig. He can be the next super lion they are looking for. Leif immediately calls Adrian and asks him to drop by after school. Adrian gets really shocked to know Leif is the super lion because even his parents don't know this secret. Before handing over the costume, Leif explains how important it is to keep the super lion's identity a secret. Adrian must tell anyone about it, including his friends and family. Adrian agrees and puts on the suit. He immediately turns into a superhero and gains exceptional strength, speed, and energy. Moreover, Leif believes in him because Adrian is already wise and strong like a super lion should be, unlike Hedvig. Leif keeps celebrating Adrian's success and doesn't even realize that Hedvig is witnessing everything. She gets really angry and rushes to her grandma. Hedvig still believes that she can be the super lion and deserves a second chance. If Leif will not give it, Hedvig is going to steal that chance. She will do anything to prove her dad wrong and Grandma must help her. Luckily, Grandma agrees just because she thinks that Adrian is not a good choice. Hedvig wants to train without telling her dad, so she makes a foolproof plan with Grandma. They secretly hide a tracker in the super lion costume so they will know when Adrian is not using it. From the next day, whenever Adrian is not using the suit, Hedvig steals it and drives to a secret location with her grandma. She has made all the preparations that will help them in finding Hedvig's strength and weakness. Even after training for days, the grandma concludes that Hedvig doesn't have any promising physical strengths, so they need to work on her mental strengths. When Grandma asks about her passion, Hedvig takes Grandma home to show her gaming skills. After wearing the suit, Hedvig easily clears the most difficult levels of games. It feels like she can predict what's going to happen in the game and how it can be played. Grandma understands everything and tells Hedvig that the costume gives her the power to predict the outcome and its solution. That's Hedvig's superpower, and she needs to put it to work. Thomas keeps trying to invite Hedvig to play games, but she ignores him to train for her next mission. The naughty lemur has caused a train to overspeed and it can crash into a car any time. Hedvig gets nervous to see the lemur because she failed miserably last time. Hearing this, the grandma asks Hedvig to consider this mission a game. Hedvig starts analyzing the surroundings and makes a plan. She uses a book to hang down on a cable and jumps on the train. After breaking into the control room, Hedvig uses nuts to drive away the lemur and stops the train in time. When the driver asks who she is, Hedvig proudly says she's the new super lion. The news reaches every house in the city, and the government cancels their plan of evacuation. Even if the troll peak falls down, the new super lion will save everyone. Hedvig also watches the news and even buys a newspaper to keep staring at her first ever achievement in life. Now there's no one to stop her from becoming a superhero. The next day at school, the teacher reminds the students of the talent show. Hedvig has participated as well, and she will be playing drums on stage. Thomas advises her to not bother participating. They all know Adrian is going to win like all the previous times. However, Hedvig has planned something else. She's going to use the super lion costume to win the talent show. Hedvig is so obsessed with proving herself that she doesn't even consider the consequences of her actions. The next week, Hedvig invites both her dad and grandma to the talent show. Adrian's parents are there too, as they also know that their son will be the winner. Each student gives his performance one by one, but Adrian and his melodious violin tunes leave the audience in shock. They start cheering for him and call him an obvious winner. The teacher was about to give him the trophy when Hedvig interrupted her. She wants to perform too. The teacher feels doubtful but gives Hedvig a chance anyway. The little girl wears the super lion costume under her clothes and gets on the drums. Her control on the beats surprises everyone. She did even better than Adrian. The audience starts cheering for her as she gets declared as the winner of this talent show. It's Hedvig's first time getting praised, but her happiness is not for long. Adrian accuses her of cheating and jumps on the stage to figure out the truth. While the two kids are fighting, the teacher declares Thomas as the winner to avoid the fights. Leif immediately runs to the backstage to check on Hedvig, but he gets shocked to see the super lion costume. Hedvig tries to explain that she just wanted to get admired by her dad, but Leif says he was right. Hedvig is hopeless. After dropping Grandma at the old care center, Leif puts the super lion costume under double security and asks Hedvig to forget that it exists. She's never going to touch it again. Hedvig gets really frustrated and says that it would be better if her dad had gone instead of her mom. Leif doesn't say anything in response and locks Hedvig in her room. She keeps crying all night and tries to contact Thomas, but he also doesn't want to talk to her after how she ignored him. The next morning, the news channels start warning the citizens about the troll peak, which can fall at any time. Seeing this, Leif calls Adrian and asks him to get ready for his first mission. After reaching the peak, Leif asks Adrian to stop showing off and focus on the mission, but Adrian asks if anyone has done a press release to announce that he's the new super lion. Leif reminds him that a superhero works for people and not for fame. Adrian doesn't listen and immediately calls the media. Once they arrive, Adrian reveals his identity, and instead of stopping the troll peak, he prefers building a statue of himself. Meanwhile, Hedvig is still locked in her room and keeps staring at her childhood book. It reminds Hedvig what her mother used to say. One doesn't have to be a superhero to be super. While Hedvig is lost in thoughts, someone breaks into her house. It's Grandma. She explains how Adrian is losing control. If he is not stopped in time, he will destroy the whole city. Leif tries his best to bring Adrian back to senses, but his negativity and self-obsession have been enhanced by the costume. He starts fighting Leif and doesn't even care about hurting him. Adrian's parents reach there as well and fight Leif and Grandma for not telling them the truth. Their conversation gets interrupted when Adrian grabs Leif and hangs him above the cliff. Everyone tries to stop him, but he throws down the poor man. While falling, Leif pulls away the super lion costume. Adrian finally gets back to his senses and starts regretting everything he has done. Hedvig suddenly remembers about the tracker on the suit and uses it to locate her dad. She climbs down by herself and finds Leif, who has miraculously survived. After climbing back on top, Leif gives the costume to Hedvig and says that she proved herself. Hedvig doesn't want to be Super Lion anymore and throws away the costume. She just wants to be herself. The troll peak can fall any time, so Hedvig starts thinking like a gamer. She calls Thomas and asks him to analyze the troll peak. He explains all the surroundings, and Hedvig uses this information to plan her next move. Leif puts his trust in Hedvig for the first time ever and does as she said. They push down a rock that creates an alternate part for the falling stones. The plan works perfectly and the city is saved by Hedvig without using any superpowers. That day, Super Lion disappeared forever, but the city has learned to protect itself. You don't need to be a superhero when you can be just super.